in the presence of this another powerful economic bloc, BRICS, and Shanghai Cooperation Organization, do you think that in the presence of these two organizations, ECO is still relevant?
We were never a security-focused organization, and that's really what differentiates us from SCO.
Can we really, in reality, push forward the goals of economic prosperity and connectivity, which is more important, despite Western opposition?
That's what perhaps gives us an edge over the rest.
Pakistan's strategic location for ECO and how it could be further utilized and converted into a reality so that Pakistan could benefit actually due to its location.
Our commitment to the organization and the region's recognition of Pakistan's importance is evident from the series of events and the number of entities and organizations that we host here in Pakistan.
How Pakistan can benefit actually from this theme of tourism, because Pakistan has a huge tourism potential.
Trade, transport, and tourism. And particularly in trade and investment and tourism, there is a very close nexus. For us to move up the development ladder, it is absolutely essential for us to start looking inwards.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello and welcome to Program Insight in V News English. Dear viewers, it's a time of regional blocs and regional powerful economic organizations. But much before this BRIC and Shanghai Cooperation Organization, there was an organization which is still known very widely, and that is Economic Cooperation Organization. So, number of global and regional organizations are working actually on the pattern of this particular organization, which was founded many, many years ago. In 1985, Economic Cooperation Organization was established. Before ECO, it was RCD, comprising of Turkey, Pakistan, and Iran, which was established in 60s. Purpose was to further forge, consolidate, and coordinate and execute bilateral cooperation, trilateral cooperation, in multiple fields, including connectivity, road networks, trade networks, enhancing trade, traveling, economic trade cooperation, tourism, and many areas. Today, this organization has become as a powerful organization comprising of 10 member countries with headquarters located in Tehran. So we would like to know what Economic Cooperation Organization is doing right now in the backdrop of two other important, very powerful regional organizations. One is SCO and the other one is BRICS. And we would also like to discuss that whether ECO is still relevant, still active, and what it has done with the passage of time. Today, we are very lucky and fortunate to have with us Secretary General of Economic Cooperation Organization, based in Tehran, Dr. Asad Majeed Khan. Dr. Asad Majeed Khan, Ambassador. He's former Foreign Secretary of Pakistan, and he has been a very seasoned diplomat, having very rich experience in bilateral and multilateral diplomacy for decades and decades. And today, ECO is having his this particular experience benefit with him. And recently, he has joined Economic Cooperation Organization as Secretary General. Dr. Ambassador Asad Majeed Khan Saab, very warm welcome to Program Insight in V News English.
Thank you very much, Mateen. Thank you for having me, and it's always a pleasure to be part of your programs, and I'm very happy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sparing time. We know you were quite busy, and you have been traveling to attend COP29, and recently you have returned, and you, despite that busy schedule and traveling, you have spared time to speak on this very important topic. Dr. Asad Majeed Khan Saab, first tell us, our international viewers, precisely that ECO, Economic Cooperation Organization, with Secretariat in Tehran, Uh, what are its latest activities? What it has recently done with regard to its mission and activities and official its objectives?
But before I get into that, Mateen, I think in your intro, you have very, aptly described the history and background of the Economic
Issue.
Organization. Let me say that as successor to the Regional Cooperation for Development, the erstwhile RCD.
Through RCD, erstwhile RCD.
Yeah, and we were actually, and that started in 1964. So in many ways, our ECO and earlier RCD, we were the pioneers in regional cooperation for development. Actually, ASEAN, which of course has made strides and gone to the next level in terms of regional collaboration and cooperation, but that was created in 1967. So the objective
it's
really
almost more than 55 years ago.
Yes, so it is actually a fully grown organization involved and engaged in the whole range of activities that you can think of in the sustainable development, in the development domain. Of course, the reason for the creation of this organization was to integrate and bring together the region. And it's interesting that if you look at the composition, we are about 8 million square kilometers of land coverage.
One of the largest in the region, exactly.
Yeah, and we are 500 million population. Our total contribution in global trade is around $1.18 trillion. And not just that, I think we are also a group of, in one way, very historically connected countries, and yet economically different systems, I think because, as you know, in 85, it was the original founding members that came together to redesignate this as the Economic Cooperation Organization from RCD. But after the Central Asian republics secured their independence in 1992, so we essentially revised the Izmir Treaty, which was the founding document for ECO, to embrace and integrate these economies, which were essentially, transition economies, which were different command economies, centralized economies. So from that perspective also, we have South Asia, we have West Asia, we have Central Asia, and we have Caucasus also. So it's really the Eurasian, it's an organization that spans across the Asian-Eurasian divide. We are also all countries that were part of also the old Silk Route. So in a way, the idea was to actually go back and trace those historical linkages. You spoke about my visit to Baku. Let me say that in Baku, there is a place called the Multan Sarai, which is actually one of those caravan sarais that were built in the old times as part of centuries ago as the Silk Route. So if I were to, and based on my time and experience serving and working in different parts of the world, I really can't think of a group of countries and a region which is as much historically, geographically, economically, I would say in some ways linguistically and ethnically also connected, on top of being religiously connected also, because all the countries that are now part of ECO are also member states. So there are actually multiple strands and multiple linkages that we have.
Cultural, spiritual, traditional, history, common bonds, values.
Exactly. And I'm really amazed as I have now started to travel across the region to see actually how much there is common, even in terms of the overlap in vocabulary. Every other word that you hear has
It's
its
common.
roots either in Persian or in Turkish or in Arabic, and then all of those words are part of our
Beauty of
language.
this connection. Exactly.
Exactly. So that way, I would, and let me say this also very frankly and candidly to you, that looking at what joins us, looking at what connects us, and the historical linkages, I think ECO has not delivered as per its promise and potential. So that is where
It has not delivered.
I think it has not. And
So
that's
due
where
to certain challenges and due to certain obstacles or challenges.
No, that's as I said that first of all, we were a group of countries that were basically because trade was the objective and the reason for the creation of this
Economic
organization.
cooperation, trade,
So,
exactly.
these were different kinds of economic systems with countries that were part of the World Trade Organization, countries that were not part of World Trade Organization. So integrating the region in terms of trade obviously was a challenge. It still remains a challenge. But we are obviously through the economic ECO trade agreement working hard to bring the countries closer together. Our trade is around 19 billion, 81.2 or $3 billion within the region, which we believe should be more. And that's where our challenge is, and that's where our opportunity is.
If I'm not wrong, you exactly said this, that ECO trade document is being prepared. It's under consideration.
Yes, the ECOTA has been there actually for many years. But since this has not translated into the actual
reality
flow of trade and the, how should I say, the tangible exchange of preferences between the member states. So the idea really is to revive this process, to basically have the countries expand the scope and range of preferences. And for that, the recent meeting in Islamabad was a breakthrough. And we do hope to start that process, which will, inshallah, eventually lead to the finalization of a free trade agreement across the ECO region.
Oh, that's very good news you are sharing, that a free trade agreement among the ECO member countries is being worked out, and soon it is expected to be adopted.
We'll start the process, and then it will eventually lead to a free trade arrangement within the ECO.
So, as you said, that there is a huge potential for trade, for economic cooperation, for connectivity, and you referred and also told our viewers that it goes back to mid-60s. So, Ambassador Asad Majeed, as I said earlier, there are two new organizations which has emerged recently. SU has emerged almost, it's approximately near 20-25 years old, and BRICS is a new phenomena. How do you think that in the presence of this another powerful economic bloc, BRICS, and Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is also focused, initially it was on security, but later on it was expanded to enhance trade, economic cooperation, socio-economic development, tourism, focus on youth and things like that. Do you think that in the presence of these two organizations, ECO is still relevant? Two parts.
Oh, absolutely. I think, first of all, the focus of our work always was and continues to be development and economic activities. We were never a security-focused organization, and that's really what differentiates us from SEO, which which started more as a security grouping and then subsequently, and is now evolving into a more comprehensive, all-encompassing organization. BRICS, for now, is more a group of countries that come together, the like-minded countries. It's still not a full-fledged, I would say, organization with a
Sort of a club and association.
yeah, it is. Yes. So maybe at some point in time in future, and many of our members actually almost, I would say, 80% of our membership is also members with SEO, and then there are others, or in fact, I would say 100%, because
100%.
all are either members or are observers or are dialogue partners with SEO. And similarly, at least one of us is in BRICS, and there are other countries also that are being considered. But again, I think what is really important is that these are, I don't think that mutually exclusive groupings. They can actually complement each other with their expertise and with their comparative advantages. So I would say that our relevance in any way is not in any way undermined or affected by the emergence of these organizations, because our reason for coming together and the way we are connected historically and the infrastructure that we have created in terms of running this organization has been there now for decades. So we have in some ways advantage over the others in terms of going to the next level, perhaps doing it more quickly and more effective.
Dr. Sab, since you have been actively involved in multilateral diplomacy, and it's an open secret that the West has certain reservations on these two economic blocs, which is this Shanghai Cooperation Organization and this BRICS. By holding BRICS in Kazan in Russia, the Russian president has proven that Russia is not economically, diplomatically isolated. It's still relevant in the world. So ECO, when it was made operational back in 1992 by revising and revisiting its treaty. So what do you think, despite Western challenges, Western reservations, are these regional countries somehow, as you said, 100% ECO countries are also part of the SCO as well? Can we really, in reality, push forward the goals of economic prosperity and connectivity, which is more important, despite Western opposition?
Really, I think, and that's what perhaps gives us an edge over the rest, because we are not, obviously, every activity at the end of the day is a political activity. But our focus is on economics and development. And then that keeps us away from taking positions and pronouncing ourselves on issues that can at times be divisive and can stand in the way of seamless development cooperation. Having said that, I think what is happening, obviously, all member states being sovereign in their own right are pursuing their own national development strategies and trying to basically steer clear of being associated with one or the other bloc to basically be able to maximize their development gains. So from that point of view, that approach and attitude then gets reflected, I would say, in the work of organizations like ECO also. So we are open and welcoming to our partners. We work very closely with our international partners, with international organizations. We are observers at the UN also. We are observers at a number of other organizations also, where obviously the Western countries make important contributions. So we work closely with those organizations. And not just that, I think, for instance, transport connectivity. if I were to, like, there are three T's
Communication, transportation, true.
that define us. One is the trade, the other is the transportation, transport connectivity, and third is tourism. And also to promote development. For instance, migration is a challenge for the region. It is a challenge for Europe also. And that's where we have this interest overlap. And then ECO as an organization can work with those organizations that are helping to deal with this challenge, internally and across borders in specific regions. And working with regional organizations, I believe, is important because regions have those common denominators. They have better information exchange systems. They also have access to see and replicate the best practices. So you can basically use the regional template basically to globalize in dealing with some of the challenges. For instance, climate change.
True, it's the biggest challenge. Exactly.
It is. And for us in the ECO region, Mateen, let me say that we are home to, we house some of the most vulnerable. In the top 10, Afghanistan is there, Pakistan is there. Across Central Asia and all other countries in ECO region, we face serious water stress related challenges. We are also facing land degradation and desertification challenges. We are experiencing sandstorms, we are experiencing locusts, we are experiencing pine forest fires. So all of that, and since we are integrated, and an earthquake in Afghanistan affects Pakistan, COVID in Iran affects Pakistan. So these are the issues that makes it important for the regions to work together. And climate being an existential threat is another very, very important. While the world will continue to do what they want to do, we are all suffering from glacial melt also, and that's the common challenge across Central Asia and South Asia, So this is what should bring us together, and this is what should basically be the reason for us to work together.
Ambassador Asad Majeed Khan Sahab, you very rightly pointed out that climate change is one of the most important challenge, but to push forward the goal and the objective of economic cooperation, development, connectivity, there is another hindrance that is called security challenge, terrorism. And all member countries are currently confronting this menace of terrorism. And if we look into Pakistan, Pakistan is gripped in the fresh wave of terrorism. Same as in Iran. Recently, you have seen also in Turkey, and other member countries. So tell us, this goal and the dream of economic and this industrial development, this connectivity cannot be achieved without fighting this scourge of terrorism. So your thoughts on that? Is ECO thinking seriously how to overcome this particular challenge? As I said before, that we cannot move forward.
No, that's an important, a very important factor, I would say, the determining factor.
Exactly.
But we, as Economic Cooperation Organization, as I said, we deal with the impact and consequences of some of these issues, but we don't deal directly with terrorism as such. But we also at the same time believe that a more prosperous, economically self-reliant region where our youth is able to get employment, we are that way able to actually address the root causes of the challenges that you are pointing out, and also cooperating regionally to lift the region, and those that are not as advanced as some of the others are, for instance, in Afghanistan, if there are challenges, so what is it that we can do? So we may not be dealing directly with the nitty-gritty of tackling terrorism. We may not be working actively in coordinating our terrorism
But
activity.
it remains a concern.
But it obviously, whatever we do is frankly impacted. We do have our window for law enforcement cooperation. We do have our window for anti-corruption cooperation and the coordination between the ombudsman of the ECO region. And that is where we are trying to basically create mechanisms that would allow us to enhance the legal cooperation or law enforcement related cooperation between our agencies. So that, I believe, will also help in tackling drug smuggling, in tackling anti-corruption activities across, in tackling migration and so on and so forth.
Dr. Saab, since you deal with the 10 countries, it's again a multilateral forum, this ECO. Tell us about this. Iran and Turkey is understood that they are very close to Pakistan. So give us a short, precise view of all member countries, how they view Pakistan as a rising economic state and a state which has potential. And since last many years, we have been describing Pakistan is located at a strategic location in the region. And you rightly mentioned Central Asia, West Asia, Far East Asia, South Asia. Pakistan is located in the center of that. How important is Pakistan's strategic location for ECO, and how it could be further utilized and converted into a reality so that Pakistan could benefit actually due to its location? Ambassador Saab.
Again, I think we are one of the founding members of both the RCD and ECO. And not just that, if you look at the speed and the promptness with which, as soon as the Central Asian countries secured their independence, they decided en bloc to join the ECO, because all of them are landlocked. So 7 of our members are landlocked.
Landlocked, exactly.
For them, access to the so-called warm waters is either through Iran or through Pakistan.
Pakistan, so exactly.
We are all we are transit countries. We are also landlord countries. So that is what I would say establishing Pakistan's importance and relevance for the other members of, including Afghanistan, I think. But not just that, Pakistan is actually the second largest Muslim country. We have a history of, active or proactive leadership of the Muslim world in the multilateral fora. Practically in every multilateral capital, Pakistan is the coordinator for OIC. Pakistan is the coordinator in New York, in Geneva, on human rights issues. So I think our relevance to these countries, and then even within the context of the organization, we have hosted 2 summits. The 3rd summit and the 13th summit we have hosted. We are hosting the ECO Science Foundation, which is one of the specialized agencies. There are 4 specialized agencies. One is the Education Institute, the other is the Science Foundation, the third is the Cultural Institute in Tehran. Education is in Istanbul, Turkey, and also the ECO Development Bank, ECO Development Bank. That is again also based out of Turkey. So we also host, maybe you may not have heard about these things. The Parliamentary Assembly of ECO is based out of Pakistan's National Parliament. And we hosted the first PICO conference in Pakistan. We are also host to the ECO Postal College. We are host to the ECO Reinsurance Company in Karachi. The Postal College is in Islamabad. So, our commitment to the organization and the region's recognition of Pakistan's importance is evident from the series of events and the number of entities and organizations that we host here in Pakistan. And we've been an active player and we'll continue. I am the third Secretary General from Pakistan and leading the organization. Ambassador Shamshad Ahmad was the first, the former Foreign Secretary, and also Ambassador Khurshid Anwar. So we have, and we even at this point in time, we depute some of our finest officers here to basically work with the rest of the system to create some impact on the organization's work.
Ambassador Asad Saab, coming to the tourism, which has huge potential in the member countries. Turkey, then Iran, then Pakistan, the country, Iran, where you are located and currently talking to us, has a huge potential of tourism. Same as in Pakistan, recreational tourism to the religious tourism. Pakistan is hub for so many faiths and discipline, and 100,000 of Pakistanis travel to Iran also, then onward to Iraq, and then Pakistanis do travel to Bukhara, to Central Asian countries. How is this team enhancing, promoting tourism and people-to-people contact, and particularly religious tourism? And how Pakistan can benefit actually from this theme of tourism, because Pakistan has a huge tourism potential.
Let me say that again. I think trade, transport, and tourism, and particularly between trade and investment and tourism, there is a very close nexus.
Exactly.
I mean, Vietnam was a tourist destination much before it became an investment destination. Thailand was a tourist destination much before it became an investment destination. So the other thing that I have noticed in my about 3 months or 2.5 months of stay here is that, we really don't know about this part of the world. We don't know much about this part of the world. I mean, even as
this
someone who has the ECO region, even Iran, which is deeply historically connected with Pakistan, while yes, of course, there is a religious tourism stream going out into Iran, but still there is very little recreational tourism. There is very little understanding of the culture, the craftsmanship, of the cuisine, of the kind of nice, good places, And it's not just here. I mean, having spent a lifetime in diplomacy, I can tell you that I'm discovering this region and getting to know things that I had no idea before. So that's where I feel that we need to focus on tourism to bring our people together, because once we are able to facilitate the flow of individuals, we will be able to facilitate the flow of goods and flow of investments across the region. We really have, from Tehran to go to Pakistan, I have to go to Istanbul or I have to go to Dubai, because there are only 2 flights in a week, which is really, and that's true for the rest of the region also. So it really has to be focused. And for this reason, we have started designating individual cities across the ECO region as ECO tourism capital. So this year, it is Shahre-Sabz, which is the birthplace of Amir Taimur in Uzbekistan. Next year, we will have Erzurum in Turkey as the tourism capital. And the year after that, in 2026, we will have Shusha. So we will use the platform of ECO to work with tour operators, to work with the tourism promotion organizations and the governments in the region to really look at ways in which we can actually bring people to travel to each other's country. I mean, you go to Ashgabat, it's the white city. I never knew that it is the kind of city that it is, I was just in Baku, and their cuisine, their lifestyles, the language,
Hospitality, culture,
it's really, and every other
amazing.
word that they utter, you say, "Oh my God, this is also in our language." So
Wow.
that's where I think maybe because they were all part of the erstwhile Soviet
Mhm.
Union, so they were close, but still they were too far. So although we
Mhm.
have come a long way in the past 30 plus years in
Mhm.
building those bridges, but I still feel that there is a lot more that we need to do, to take this movement of people to the next level. And for that, we need to have rail links, we have to have
Mhm.
road links, we have to have road transport. And road transport connectivity will also become economically feasible when you have more people interested in travel. And that's when commercial traveling, apart from the movement of goods, commercial traveling also becomes feasible and affordable.
Ambassador Saab, tell us your future plans. Now you are Secretary General. You have already said that you are making travels to the region. That is part of your official assignment. What are the future events at the summit level? When the next ECO summit or certain other high-level forums are expected this year and the next year to our international viewers?
Well, right now, I mean, very soon we will have the Council of Ministers. Iran is the current chair of ECO, and it will be organized in Mashhad. And this is held at the level of the foreign ministers. This
What are
is
the dates?
These are December 2nd and 3rd. And we hope we have confirmations, and then we are looking forward to a productive Council of Ministers, which is the highest decision-making body in ECO. And then we have also the high-level committee, which is not obviously as high as the foreign ministers, but it is comprising of the foreign secretaries of the ECO member states that come together to engage in a free-flowing conversation on the challenges that we face in the organization and the opportunities that we have to basically reflect on the reform processes and where the organization could go. And yes, we also had our Vision 2025, which started in 17, and now next year is the final year. So we will, during these meetings, will be reflecting on the way forward in terms of coming up with revising and reviewing the vision, and coming up with a new iteration of the vision, or to come up with a new document. So this is something which is going to be quite high on the agenda. And then in 2025, we will have the 17th ECO summit in Azerbaijan. With that, dates are being worked out through diplomatic channels.
Next year.
Next year, yes, it will be in
Next
2025. Yes. So, and then we have the whole menu of ministerial level meetings. We will launch the new tourism capital, and for that, usually a big, ceremony is held in the host city, and the tourism ministers of the ECO member states also. So we have a ministerial meeting parallel to the launch of the capital. Then we have these connectivity related projects, like the Istanbul, Tehran, Islamabad road connection, which was active, and we had about 8 rail connection, which was active, but then after 2022, because of the road damage, we had to suspend those. So we'll be working on some of these initiatives in the months.
So it is going to be revived. Please tell our viewer it is going to be revived, Islamabad, Tehran, Istanbul road network.
Oh, yeah, it is actually. It's just a question of fixing some parts and then bringing back. Yes.
Dr. Last but not the least, Pakistan daily need investment, and Pakistan also wish to promote its exports, because export is ultimately the source of foreign remittance income in US dollars. Pakistan is vibrant, having a lot of investment. So what do you think ECO countries, as one of the agenda, one of the objective is to enhance investment, economic cooperation. Do you expect that ECO member countries somehow are ready to come to Pakistan, invest in Pakistan? How you see, and then Pakistan's exports reaching out to, as you just mentioned, that there was a road network which was suspended and it is going to be revived. So please tell us on that, the trade from Pakistan to the ECO countries and investment from ECO countries into Pakistan.
Our biggest dilemma, if I may put it that way, is that if you look at our trade profile, unfortunately, we trade very little with our neighbors.
Pakistan.
One. Yes. Secondly, unfortunately, the intra-regional trade also between ECO countries is not as much. It is just about 8%, as I said, which is about $81 billion. But that trade is mostly between Turkey and the rest of the system, So Pakistan's trade volumes with most of the Central Asian republics is minimal, to say the least. So, and clearly, investment flows are facilitated. Similarly, our transit potential. If you integrate the region, if you create a bigger market, where countries and companies can access easily, can basically make profit easily, then you basically create an incentive for them. So it is not just Pakistani market, but it is that larger ECO region-wide market that they are looking at. So for us to also leverage our transit potential, because obviously with the uncertainties in Europe and the changing geopolitical global environment, there is a need and a desire to create that so-called Eurasian link, and then to create these alternative routes that will allow some of those, because we are, look at our region. We are also energy producing countries. We are energy transit countries. We are also energy consuming countries. And if we were only to create those energy transit points, we will be making a lot of money and attracting some of the foreign investors to invest in that infrastructure. So what I'm saying is that this objective of trade integration and transport connectivity really is designed and then to create trade facilitation mechanism. You make it easier, you have a common joint market, and countries and individual companies will definitely come. Our trade is already too low. We need to work very hard to basically take it to the next level. And then once you do that, obviously there will be, because they need, even our food production. Food security is the challenge in the ECO region. And Pakistan, which was the bread basket for the United India, can be the bread basket for all of Central Asia also, if we are able to invest and create those trade linkages.
Dr. Sab, last 1 minute with you as a Secretary General of ECO. If you wish to say concluding remarks, the forum is with you now without any question.
No, thank you so much, first of all, for having me, for letting me explain about ECO, which is unfortunately not as known as it should be. For me, this being the Secretary General here in Tehran is not just another job. For me, this is a mission. I believe, I sincerely believe that for us to move up the development ladder, it is absolutely essential for us to start looking inwards and to start looking across the region and build the linkages that we need to build to explore prosperity and to explore growth, And for that, ECO is a very important vehicle, and this is an underused vehicle, which I am determined to do whatever I can to basically help this organization move to the next level.
Thank you so much indeed, Ambassador Dr. Asad Majeed Khan Sahab, who finally said that the entire ECO region has a huge potential. And actually, whatever ECO was supposed to do under its framework or under its charter, that work has not been done. And he is quite optimistic. And in the days to come, as the Secretary General of ECO, it's not his job, rather a mission and a challenge. And Ambassador Saab, we wish you best of luck, because region needs, as you said, that this development ladder needs to go to all member countries. This connectivity, trade, and the entire region is definitely looking for these strong economic, trade, industrial, communication linkages. Thank you once again, despite your busy schedule. You spoke in depth to Program Insight in V News English and explained various aspects and associated questions related to economic development, regional cooperation, and the future of this particular region. Inshallah, we'll remain in touch with you. And dear viewers, till our next program, goodbye and Allah Hafiz from studios.